Morning. We know that promoters and key investors like the big Dilip Shangvi are participating in the rights issue. But what about other key investors, banks, etc.? And what's been the first day feedback like?
Of course, Mr. Sanghvi, there was a statement which we put out in the public domain on Friday last week that certainly Mr. Sanghvi and the family would be participating for their share of the rights as well, as will the Tanti family. So that, of course, is very heartening. First day feedback, it takes us a little bit of time to gather the feedback, but I think overall, what I get to hear, the feedback from the ground is quite positive, and we're looking forward to a successful closure of the rights issue in the next week to 10 days.
Right. We asked because the rights entitlement opened at a discount of about 2.5 rupees and then ended even lower. And the bulk block deal suggests that BOB sold its rights entitlement.
No, so we would not be aware of who is sold and who is bought. I mean, of course, it's a fairly automated process on the rights entitlement. I think, the volumes we saw yesterday, I think both exchanges put together was about 12 to 13 crores in the rights entitlement. So that was an encouraging sign, because certainly people who are buying the rights entitlement would certainly subscribe to the rights issue. Otherwise, they would not buy the rights entitlement. That's the logical conclusion one can infer. So if volumes on day one were to go anything to go by, it was quite encouraging.
We understand that the debt has come off quite substantially to 3,200 crores. What is your debt reduction plan?
So as on 30th June, so let me just clarify the debt numbers, because I think, certain quarters of the media in print this morning have probably not got the entire picture. So as on 30th June, the consolidated debt in the balance sheet was about 3,200 crores. As you are aware, we're doing a rights issue of about 1,200 crores, out of which 900 crores would go down towards debt repayment. Now, the 1,200 crores on rights is spread across the first tranche is 600 crores. So out of the 600, after the issue expenses, we would be paying about 583.5 crores. We'd be reducing our debt immediately, assuming, of course, full subscription to the rights issue. And then as and when we call the subsequent tranche or subsequent tranches, another 316 crores would be paid from the subsequent tranches. So a total of 900 crores from the overall 1,200 crores of rights, assuming full subscription, would go towards reduction of debt. So therefore, the 3,200 crores debt that stood at 30th June 2022 balance sheet would be reduced by 900 crores once the entire rights issue call money has been made available to the company. And of course, that is in addition to the scheduled repayments which are ongoing from the operational cash flows of the company. So as we approach March 2023 balance sheet, whilst I can't give a precise number, but it'll be certainly a much healthier, much leaner balance sheet, and significantly reduced down from the 3,200 crore debt number.
So is there any internal target by when you will be net debt free? Because we understand that you're looking at even selling some of your non-core assets.
So we are working as we also made a mention in ILOF that there are a few non-core assets that are there on the company's books. Over a period of time, we would be looking at monetizing those assets. Of course, we'll be doing that at the right value. So it would be a period of time, but certainly those are in our radar. Now, whether that goes towards all likelihood in FY24 is when we would also look at monetizing those assets to make the balance sheet almost, I would say, almost debt free.
Right. Let's get to operations as well. I wanted to understand what the order book's like, demand momentum on ground.
As on Q1, we had about 680, 690 megawatts order book. And subsequently, we've announced two big orders. One was from Semcorp, which is 180 megawatts. And yesterday, we made another announcement of securing another order from Aditya Birla Group, which is for another 144 megawatts. So all in all, a little less than 1 gigawatt is where our order book stands today. So if we look at that order book, our capacities for the next 12 months is pretty much sold out as we stand today.
Right. And what about exports? Do you still have a large exposure? And if yes, what do you see happening in terms of Europe as an opportunity?
So the company used to do a lot of exports. I mean, if you see, Suzlon turbines are pretty much installed across the globe in all geographies, all continents. However, that activity had stopped a few years back due to the financial restructuring and crunch that was faced by the company. Having said that, there is no immediate plan to start the exports business whilst we have our operational presence on ground with our team and people available in those geographies. But I mean, the sheer demand in the Indian market that we see is quite excessive. So we would our first goal or objective would be to try and cater to that demand and of course meet our market share or exceed our market share expectations before we start looking at restart looking at export markets for our business.
And just in case 1200 crores isn't raised, what is the recourse? Will promoters be putting in more to increase stake?
So the good part about our rights is because the end use is purely debt repayment. There is no minimum threshold that we need to get a subscription of. So unlike some of the other end use where if there is a capex or a plant needs to be installed, the minimum end use, minimum subscription level requirement is about 90%. So in our case, that is not the restriction. I mean, even if we don't get the entire 1200 as part of the rights and we get an amount shy of that or lower than that, we could still take those funds, close the rights issue and repay down the debt to that extent. Of course, in that scenario, in that unlikely scenario, we would certainly possibly look at expediting some of the asset monetization initiatives within FY23 itself, which otherwise would have gone to FY24. But as I sit here today, I think the possibility of short closure in rights is very minimal.
So just to clarify, will the Tanti family look at increasing stake?
No, so from Tanti family, the commitment is there to subscribe to their portion of the rights. I don't think at this point in time they'd probably be in a position to subscribe beyond that. At least that's my understanding.
Okay, great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for taking the time out and highlighting what the rights issue and of course business visibility is looking like right now. Let's shift focus and let's talk about